Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Um, Thanks everyone for joining, and welcome to another episode of AIE's live stream with series. A big thank you to Peter Lee from Luma Pictures for joining us tonight, and welcome, Peter. I'm also joined
Thank-
by Steph, our event officer in Sydney. So thanks for coming on, Steph. If anyone does have any questions during the live stream, feel free to just ask them in the chat. And then if we can get to them, then we will. But I'll hand over to Steph.
Great. Thank you so much. I'm not sure if I'm lagging at the moment, but I'm sorry if I am. But thank you so much, Peter, for coming onto the stream. I'm really excited to have you. I think I was telling you before that every time I check out credits for a movie and we're searching IMDb for AIE alumni, your name is constantly there. So yeah, super excited to have you on.
Yeah, no worries.
Great.
Thanks. Yeah, it's always good to see credits when I go to the cinemas to watch my films. I'm like
Yeah,
excited for it.
definitely.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, so first and foremost, can you explain what is your current role and where are you working currently?
So I'm a tracking and matchmove artist. So what that basically means, I would track the footage, track the backplate, as you say, and then get a CG camera that replicates the real camera, so we can kind of add in CG elements into the shot. And then we mainly do match moves, which is kind of bringing a character rig and matching the characters on the screen or objects. And the simple way I could say to describe it is like putting an Iron Man suit onto Tony Stark. No way. So, like, because CG elements interact with the characters through VFX shots generally. So, and I'm working for Luma, which is located in Melbourne, but I'm actually currently living in Sydney. um, because I'm working from home, and my partner, um, and I moved up here just because my partner gets work here mostly. So yeah, it's been good.
Oh, great. And how long have you been in your current role, or how long have you been with Luma for?
So I got a like Luma was actually my first job. Is actually my first job, VFX job
Nice.
after AIE. So I've been working with Luma since just before the pandemic hit, which is 2020, March 2020. So I was in the studio for a little bit, and then we got shipped to working from home. Yeah.
Yeah, and are you enjoying working from home? Was it a nice, I guess, change? And have you enjoyed the work-life balance? How's that been?
It's been pretty good. Like there's hit and miss sometimes. We
Yeah.
started working from home um, like a month and a half in without me starting, and this is kind of like my first kind of role and kind of learning it as well. And
Yeah.
it was a bit nerve-wracking at first, but you kind of get used to it, and it's been good because you can kind of just roll out of bed like quarter to like starting, and
Yeah.
you have a lot more free time. You save a lot of money from like public transport, and like I have two dogs, so I just take them for a walk like every day, and it's good. Yeah, but I do
Yeah,
miss those
amazing.
like kind of studio vibes as well. Like like just looking at another screen, it's like, what are you working on? And it's like, oh, how do you
Yeah.
like that easy collaboration? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like it's been such a move currently to, I guess there's so many more opportunities now for people working and being able to work on massive projects because you can work remotely. So I guess
Yeah.
that's one great thing that came out of the last couple of years, we could say. Cool. Okay, and
Yeah.
would you like to take us through how you actually landed this position and kind of what was the process there?
So I did 2 years at A. Then the year after that, I did a postgraduate in Adelaide, and then it was a few months. I think I applied for Luma, and I didn't hear back for a few months later. Then I got an interview, and then I think I did well in the interview because I had like a month, I think, before I heard back from them as well. And I
Okay.
remember the time when I actually got the job after I was working at Woolworths on the checkout, and
Yeah.
I have an Apple Watch, and the email popped up on my Apple Watch, and my face just like went, Oh my gosh! And then the funny thing is, my boss walked by and was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" But my boss was happy for me, like, because we were like, I was studying it, and she knew what I wanted to get into, and
Yeah,
yeah, I've been working with Luma ever since. Yeah, so it's been good.
amazing.
It's a really good experience. Yeah,
Yeah, quite different to, I guess you could say, Woolworths.
yeah,
Definitely.
definitely.
Awesome. So,
I mean,
and how
like in
oh
terms of
yeah,
like
sorry.
working at Woolworths, sorry, like you get those kind of personal team working skills, which are quite important
For
when working
sure.
in a
Yeah.
studio. You know, you're not just working on your own thing or
Yeah.
by yourself. You have to kind of collaborate and like work well with others, which is, I guess, one of the skills I picked up from
Yeah,
working at Woolies.
definitely.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. Customer service and getting to work in teams is they're important skills. So had you done any sort of 3D work before coming to AIE, or was that kind of fresh territory for you?
Well, I did a few years ago. I was at another uni. Like just like I was at Victoria Uni, but I did like a bachelor's degree, and there was
Yeah.
kind of like some 3D elements here, but like with that structure, didn't really with the university structure didn't really help me kind of land a job because I was thinking I was doing a bit of game stuff. I kind
Yeah.
of left that behind and did a bit of videography along the way while working at Woolworths as well. Um,
Yeah.
but then yeah. So
Great.
I had
And
some idea of 3D. Yeah.
yeah, and do you remember what, so obviously with the course that you did, which was 3D animation and VFX for film, you would have handed in a portfolio and sat an interview. So do you remember what kinds of things you showed for that?
Well, I didn't. I think like a lot of students, they're straight from high school and they have like
Yeah.
concept art and drawings and stuff. For me, I didn't have that because I'm not a drawer or creative that in that way. But I did a lot of
Yeah.
videography stuff in the past, and I think I showed Keith, who was the person who interviewed me in Melbourne campus, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm pretty, kind of like overqualified for this." So it was quite easy. But
Amazing.
yeah,
Hey
I think I came
guys.
into.
Oops, sorry.
Oh,
No, you
hi.
continue. I'll go after you.
Um, I forgot what I was going to say.
Oh, no, you're all right.
So,
I
yeah,
do have a question.
Great.
Chris Hill has joined us online and he has asked, Hi Peter, during your time at AIE, what were your interests and favourite specialisations before becoming a tracking and match move artist?
Good question.
I actually did tracking as my specialization in second year of uni because I had no idea what I wanted to do, and I took it on as a because it was kind of like to get entry level in VFX, it was going to be either tracking or roto. So I was like, okay, I just want to get my foot into the door. But I actually found I actually really enjoyed it. Um, I did a roto course with in Adelaide like a few years ago, and I was like, oh, this is not definitely not for me. I do not want to do this for the rest of my life. It was like months and months of ends, and then 3D like tracking is 3D, so and um, like I really enjoyed it, and I kind of like go from shot to shot. I'm not stuck on one shot for weeks on end. I kind of my work schedule is kind of rapid. Yeah,
Yeah, awesome. Thanks.
no
Thanks,
worries.
Alyssa. Perfect. Okay. So I guess that brings me to, well, you've kind of already answered this by your kind of journey, but did you always know that you wanted to work in the 3D space, or yeah, what did you wish for yourself growing up?
Well, I didn't. Yeah, even straight after high school, I had no idea. I did like music in high school, and I thought like movies and film has always kind of interested in me, and I thought maybe I could potentially do music for it, but then I figured out you have to do a lot of practice, which I wasn't too keen on. But
Yeah.
yeah, I had no idea, and I kind of stuck with the media stuff like along um, like for several years, and I didn't know like I could potentially work in Hollywood with Hollywood films. I actually
Yeah.
found out like a few years ago. I met a friend who actually worked for Luma for a few years, and it was
Yeah.
kind of like opened my eyes. Like, oh wait, you can actually work like on Hollywood films here right here in Melbourne. It's like okay,
Yeah.
And then yeah, I started kind of looking into it. Oh yeah, looking into it a little bit, and yeah, I found I was at Supernova and I found AIE at the as one of the
Ah,
stalls and found out a little bit
yeah,
more. I was like, okay, I was thinking, well, maybe we can go back to games, and I started following your social media, and it's like, you have alumni who worked on
yeah,
like big films and stuff. So I was like, okay, this is what I
yeah,
can get across.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something that people don't understand is that although there's all these Hollywood films, Australians actually have an amazing set of skills when it comes to, yeah, VFX and animation and that kind of thing. So, yeah, that
Mm.
we have a lot of opportunities here. So, yeah, amazing. And what does a typical workday, if there is a typical workday, what does that look like for you?
So we have Monday morning meeting. So we kind of get like a brief from with the whole student Zoom call, just see what's going on, any updates, and 9 a.m. we have our tracking rounds. So we have a group of 5 trackers, I think, in like across LA and then Melbourne. So we have actually 4 in Melbourne and one in LA, and we
Oh,
just kind of talk about what shots we're working for the day and how to best approach it. If there's any questions, we can talk with our lead and work things out. Yeah, and I would get tasks of either tracking or match move, usually match move, and sometimes it could take half a day, sometimes it could take 3 days. Like it really depends. But usually,
yeah.
on average, I would say about a day per task. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, perfect. And what was something, talking about your time at AIE, like we mentioned before, so what was something valuable that you took from studying as part of, yeah, in at AIE?
I think like learning about the connections, like with like what the industry expects and wants, and kind of
Yeah,
I find that quite useful because at like a normal university, you don't really get that industry type skill. And I found that AI kind of focused more on that. They consistently talk to people in the industry and what they are looking for. And even our like final year at AIE, we all worked on kind of one film instead of multiple small films, and therefore we can kind of focus more on our specializations and collaborate and make a big thing. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. And actually, we haven't mentioned it, but at the moment there is a show reel playing, so this is actually some of your work. So do you want to explain what
Mm.
we're seeing?
So this is Shang-Chi. We worked on the whole bus sequence. I pretty much touched like almost every shot. I didn't like track or match move every single shot, but some of the poles of the buses I kind of put back because I was kind of helping lay out a little bit because there's a lot of CG elements where there's camera rigs and stuff that's painted out, and then like poles or elements of the bus that's been put in, and also with here is Razorfist's sword thing. Yeah, we had to match
Yeah.
move these two characters and
Ah,
yeah, have that CG sword, and also like we also match move Shang Chi just for reflections with the sword and stuff because it's a metal. And yeah, here yeah, cut these poles up, those kind of poles properly placed. Even this laptop, I've matched with this laptop as well. Um,
wow.
there's a lot, yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of things going on.
It's
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah. So did you feel a bit proud watching it, seeing and pointing out, I did that, I worked on that. Does it
yeah, a
change the way
little bit,
you view movies?
yeah. And whoever was with is like, I worked on that shot, just tug on the shoulder. But sometimes when
Just
I go to
whispering.
like I had this issue when I go to the like watch the actual movie because we don't
Yeah.
get like for tracking anyway, we don't get audio or context generally,
Ah.
and it's like I'm analyzing what's going on because sometimes we tracking and match move is usually the beginning stage of VFX. So like seeing the end product, we don't usually get to see it or we miss it. Um,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, appreciating what they've done and it's like how they used your work to create this, like from the comp and you know. But yeah, and then like I
Yeah.
have to rewatch it and say, okay, what did they say? What were they talking about? I can't
What's actually
remember.
happening? Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, awesome movie. Great work. I'm so impressed by that. Like I was saying, I have been checking the credits and your name was just popping up in some awesome things, which brings me to talking about what is the best thing about working in a studio like Luma? Is it working on projects like this?
um, yeah, working on big Marvel films, having the flexibility as well from working from home, like with yeah, like life work balance. I
Yeah.
like my team that I work with. I like my lead. I get along really well. So I think like I'm quite happy where I am actually. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
there's a
that's
lot of favorite things.
exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I kind of
for
miss the
sure.
snacks from work, like the actual studio, because
What are
there'll
the
be ready
perks for
snacks all
sure?
the time. It's like okay,
That sounds
yeah.
amazing. And what are, I guess we've seen a little snapshot, but other than Shang-Chi, what are some exciting things that you've been able to work on in your current role?
So a lot of Marvel like Eternals, Spider-Man. This one is I'm going blank. The Tomorrow War. We did a bit of
Oh
this
yeah.
one. We did Candyman, the it's kind of a horror film one.
Hmm.
To Those Who Wish Me Dead, which is another Angelina Jolie film. Chaos
Yeah.
Walking with Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley. Yeah, yeah. So it's a fair few. Yeah. Um,
Amazing.
yeah, we're going
Incredible.
from project
Yeah.
to projects. Yeah. Sometimes we
Yeah,
can be
busy
working on like
time.
three at once. Oh, One
Wow, that's
Division. Yeah,
chaotic.
forgot about it.
Yeah. How do you actually manage that? Do you have specific, like, yeah, how do you manage working on multiple tasks at one time?
Well, yeah, like the great, feeling grateful for all the production managers out there and like how they kind of organize our schedules and it's like so we don't have to stress about all that because they kind of like work out the scheduling. And all we have to
Yeah.
do is just work on our current tasks and not stress about that. Yeah,
Yeah. And what are the
so that they
timelines?
kind of keep us in check.
Oh
Hmm?
yeah, yeah, for sure. So, what are the timelines given to, yeah, I guess film projects like this to get an understanding of the time that actually goes into making something as short as a tiny train fight or something like that?
I think it really depends from shot to shot. Like for me, I just did a tracking and match movie, but it could take a lot more longer for other departments like lighting or effects or comp. They kind of do the other part of the actual shot itself. Like I think like frame range is dependent and the complexity, I guess, of what's going on the actual shot. Um, Sometimes we kind of finish projects just before um, it comes out as well. Like
Oh,
actually,
really?
One Division, the show was actually we worked on the last episode, but the show already had
Yeah.
started streaming on Disney Plus.
Oh,
So it's kind
how
of like,
stressful.
okay, let's try and get this done. It's like a very fast-paced timeline, yeah. But yeah, sometimes it's
Crazy.
almost like last minute as well. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, you do your best work last minute, so I'm all for that for sure. So,
um,
what is the best bit of, or actually, what is a piece of advice you'd wish you'd known earlier before you, or when you were hoping to get into the industry?
I think like your CV is quite important. Um, is to
For
try to
sure.
get the attention of like the artist manager or the recruiter. Um, and once you get your foot and step in the door, then it's kind of you can actually show yourself and show who you are. Um, and then yeah, it's from there. It's like I think that's quite important because I got help with my CV stuff, and it makes such a difference from like sending emails and applying for jobs, and hearing back from nothing until you put a lot of effort into getting your CV set up and your application set up, and then okay, then you start hearing back. Yeah,
Yeah, no, definitely. And even something as simple as LinkedIn or just making those
yeah.
connections and networking and stuff like that, I feel like it can be sometimes overlooked as well. So is that something that yeah, focus on is networking and trying to make those connections and
Hey,
share your work with others.
yeah,
And
yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely asking for feedback and like, how can I make my show reel look better? And kind of
yeah.
like sometimes it's just cutting out things. Um, I think I heard a story about a person who got a job at another studio, and all he had was one shot, just one
Oh
shot in the
wow.
showreel. It was his best work, and it's like, okay, like it's not about quantity; it's like very much about quality. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Awesome. Any exciting projects that you can talk about coming up? I know sometimes these things are top secret, locked away, but anything that you are able to share or give hints at?
Well, yeah, we're working on Thor at the moment,
Ooh,
and I think there's another project upcoming. I'm not sure yet. Um, But yeah, the trailer came out. And my shot was in it. It was that shot where Jane, Thor and Jane was looking at each other, and the building in the background was on fire, falling apart. That I remember doing that shot. It's like, okay, we need to get this shot out, like trailer shot. It's kind of like a
amazing.
timeline, trying to get that right, and yeah, a few
Yeah.
shots in there. So I'm kind of proud of that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess you kind
um,
of get a sneak peek as well for some of these things coming up, and you get to see, like you were saying, the sound isn't on it, but you get to see a little snippet of what's to come and who's doing what.
yeah,
And
yeah, definitely. I don't know how many people will watch Doctor Strange yet. That's come out, but
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
we worked on the big octopus giant monster sequence, and also
Ah,
the cameo sequence as well, where they're in the judgment chamber and all the characters start coming in. And then like,
yeah.
oh, we were quite excited for that. I was quite excited for it anyway.
Was that
I
one of
remember
your,
I
or
actually
actually,
came.
yes, are
Yeah,
you?
yeah. I don't know if I worked on the yellow chair, the hovering chair. If that makes any sense.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, no, it makes total sense. And what would you
and
say
yeah, a
is
few
your
shots.
favorite projects that you've worked on or favorite project?
Um, I don't know. It's hard. Like, I don't know. I love Marvel. Like my number one
Yeah.
goal before actually like becoming a visual effects artist was to work on Marvel film, and now I'm working on like five, six. I don't know what's counting. Like
Yeah.
I think Spider Man's a big one, I guess. Yeah, and I'm quite excited for Doctor Strange as well because I worked on like the big surprise, and I knew like fans would go nuts in the cinemas when my shot came on screen, and well, that's why I kind of like looked forward to. Yeah.
That's
Um,
incredible. Yeah, cool. I've definitely been watching some of these films in cinema, and I have loved them. I am not always a huge action movie person, but I feel like in the last few years, and with more and more movies coming out, like Spider-Man, actually, yeah, amazing work, and I'm so keen to see Doctor Strange. So I will be seeing that
yeah.
very soon. Yeah.
I have a story. With
Yeah.
it was in my show, like the last shot of my show. I did like a Doctor Strange portal for my
Oh yeah.
project in at AIE, and I remember working that with like my teacher at that time, Daryl, and
Mm.
actually like because Daryl was in Sydney as well. It's like I go, hey, you want to come and watch Doctor Strange with me? And it's kind of like been a kind of full circle where like he helped me, worked on Doctor Strange portal, and now I'm actually working on Doctor Strange. It's just kind of like, oh, it's
Wow.
mind blowing.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah,
nice. What a full circle moment. And it's good that you kept
yeah,
in touch as well. So I know that here in Sydney, our teachers, or I guess at every campus, teachers do really become quite, yeah, you become quite friendly. You spend so much
yeah.
time together and you work on projects together. I'm sure you can account for that. And yeah, very
Yeah, yeah.
supportive
And
group of
sometimes and you become like co-workers, or they become your boss in the actual studio. I think
people.
like there's a few classmates who's at ILM, and my teacher's at ILM at the moment, so they're kind of working in the same studio now. It's like okay,
Yeah. Awesome.
yeah.
Well, I have that's basically most of the questions from me. You've answered them amazingly. But last thing I want to know before we get to some questions potentially or follow up is any words of encouragement to someone who is hoping to get into a similar position?
Um, just kind of. go for it. I think, yeah, how you or skills where you kind of like work with other people, like teamwork. That's quite important. Like, don't just. I know there's a lot of people, a lot of like, and like introvert. I know that feeling of kind of just being by yourself on a computer working and everything, but try and open up yourself to like working and be collaborative as well. I think that's quite important. Yeah.
Yeah, great advice. So, do we have any questions, Alyssa?
No, that is it. I will apologize to our YouTube viewers though. YouTube decided there was a little bit of a plagiarism policy. Um,
Oh,
Oh
little
no.
do
okay.
with the video, little do they know.
Yeah.
um, so we did tune out for a little bit there, but we came back at the end on YouTube.
That's okay.
Oh no.
That's all right.
What
um,
happens when you work on this stuff?
yeah,
Yeah, top
that's
secret. They
it.
got that very quickly. Good on them. Good
Yeah, they
moderators.
did. No, well, a big thank you very much, Peter, for taking time out in your busy schedule, for joining us tonight. Anything to wrap up from you, Steph, before I cross over to some AIE things?
No, I think, yeah, amazing job. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see more and more things that you are working on. Super exciting. So thank you. You're welcome back anytime. So yeah, that's everything from me.
Nice, thank you.
Alrighty. Alrighty. Well, I've just pulled up our website here. If you are interested in studying at AIE, there's a link to all of our courses in this tab here. If you go down one tab, you will see we do have some events coming up soon. If you are interested in studying on the online campus, there is an online campus day this Saturday. And then to follow on June 8th, we also have an information evening. You can always shoot us a question down on this tab here, or if you're even keener, please just hit apply now. That is all from us. Thank you so much for everyone joining us, and we'll see you next time.